Recording begins.
Okay. When last we left our intrepid heroes in their daring adventure in the previous episode, the night before, they had just finished a brawl in a parallel dimension that, for all intents and purposes, went a lot quicker than that person had anticipated. After which, forgive me,
I was going to say, to be
you
fair, it
said?
went a lot quicker than I was expecting.
Upon making it back to this plane of existence, you guys finished the fight on the beach and were resting up as Cord and his few men were gathering bodies, making ready the other ships, and coming to the realization that there are not enough men to get both ships moving efficiently. Can get them moving, they'll just be moving hella slow. And that is when Cord suggests, during a time of respite, as you guys look pretty haggard, that he would send some men to a couple other little places further inland and see if there are some more survivors that were potentially overlooked. During which time you guys decide it's probably a good time to actually take the long rest we had mentioned. During which some people had nodded off. There were some moments, excuse me, some moments where people walked in their dreams. There were some moments where Genji was meditating and kind of found uh, some moments of tranquility, we'll call them. Uh, Armando,
Hmm.
I, I'm not real sure how to describe yours other than just kind of resting. To be fair, you probably crashed relatively hard.
Yeah, probably.
You've been up longer
But
than me anyway, because you had
I believe
time
he's been up
dilation.
longer. I believe he's been up longer than
Well, Genji was with me.
everyone. True. But
Genji wasn't sciencing.
but while you rest, Arthur will tend to maintenance and repairs on some of your items. And that will shorten some of the time from when you wake.
He grew up so fast. Such a good boy.
Of course he's a good boy. He's my son. The
He's perfect.
the horrific monstrosity that he is.
It's quite impressive. Even by Jotun standards, it would take a couple years before even one of our kin could start moving around and hunting its own kills. And look at Arthur. Fucking a few weeks old and he's already tinkering with you. You should be proud.
They grow up so fast.
This is true.
And she's just kind of standing there, eyebrow raised, kind of softly snickering.
When's his birthday? Did you get him a cake?
He hasn't had his first birthday yet.
Well, Genji, you can bake, can't you? You Tavirians are good with everything.
No.
I just blankly kind of look over at Sandoval, smiling. Hopefully.
I have been told that I am not allowed to cook anything.
Sandoval, you're noble. Your parents made you learn stuff, right? If I do recall, they made you learn dancing, some weird fencing, or at least this is how it was in your cousin's house.
Yes, that's what all of the richest families ensure their youngest learn. Guns, dueling at dawn, ships,
No,
and
I said
cake.
dancing. Dancing, baking.
Oh, forgive me. Yes, dancing too,
There was a lot of dancing.
and cake.
I've never cooked a thing in my life.
I don't know, pointing at one of the guys. You cooked his goose pretty thoroughly.
But you know how to.
You put the cake stuff in a cake thing and put it on the fire.
I look out the
So
window.
eloquent. This is a direct quote for the book, by the way.
Probably not wrong.
Is Daisy here?
No.
No,
No,
you're still
they
at the
are.
ship.
Yes, they
Oh.
are at the ship.
I was going to say, why is Arthur here?
No, whenever
we get back.
whenever you guys get back, he will aid in all of your building and leveling up stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. We leveled up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this
Justin called.
your way of saying you forgot about it?
No? Yeah.
Well, while everyone is asking Sandoval if he can bake cake, um, Ali would approach Armando to have a bit of an exchange, preferably in hushed tones. Not that he cares if anyone hears. He thinks that you might, but yeah.
I mean, I do have
Forgive me,
pretty good
but
listening.
earlier when you were speaking, did you mention the Maiden of the Mists, Nehelania?
Yes. Sitting there, like, tightening the screws and checking over my gear. Yes, she has offered her aid.
Yeah, very obviously perturbed. You've made a pact with one of the Mad Ones.
I gesture at the residents of the Black Church. Would you prefer them?
Believe them to be one and the same, two sides of the same coin.
One needs us, the other wants to wipe us from existence. I'm not saying she doesn't have her flaws. She's not
Do you
looking.
not know the law?
I have heard many stories, most of which conflict with each other. What is your people's story?
It's a long one. And I fear the way of the life of the zealot is not a proud one in retrospect. I don't stand here in judgment. I was sent merely to aid. I should not have questioned your wisdom. Forgive me.
Question away. There is much in the world I do not yet know. I am willing to admit this. But I also seek allies in every corner of the world, where my enemies are already there.
For we are taught they plunge the world into darkness. Do you not fear she would do the same? Do you believe your intellect to be high enough that she could not outsmart you in this endeavor?
In what I have seen, what little knowledge I have been able to glean of the time, I do not believe it was one of her kind that plunged the world into darkness. But, kind of shrugs, I wasn't there. I could be wrong.
We know someone that was.
Yes, my father.
Ali,
I've no plans of leaving.
I do not know.
They'll follow orders, but I am leery.
Good. As I said, I am not infallible. I am smart. My devices are powerful. But they are merely devices and cannot make decisions. I need people around me to advise. And sometimes I must make the best decision I can at the moment. And deal with the consequences afterwards.
I am your ally in this. He places his right hand over his left breast, sort of bows at the shoulder. I am your ally unto the end. I will see your endeavors through, as I was bade.
I give a deep nod back.
I just hope you're not walking us up to the gates of hell. And he turns, sharply clips his heels together as he marches off to the end of the pier, sort of takes a knee.
Turn back to what I'm working on. I'm muttering under my breath. Well, if I do, the fire thrower probably isn't going to be very useful. Yeah, because out of game, I'm not entirely convinced myself, but yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got any last minute things they would like to do
I would
apart
like to
from?
roll a scrimshaw. Scrimshander.
Okay. Are you tending to your weaponry at all? You guys been fighting
Yes,
quite
I'm going to
heavily.
check on my
I assume you.
ornamental sword. Yeah, I'm definitely checking that out. I just remembered, yeah, I had to dig it out of that fucking beads armor. Definitely, if it looks really rough for wear, definitely be walking over to Armando and asking him to see if he couldn't
No,
get some
none of it's
that bad.
broken.
Okay,
But
it definitely needs
if you're
maintenance.
rolling, well, if you're rolling craft during the long rest period, I'm air quoting with my fingers, the long rest period, you're not doing what is typically done during a long rest period, which is general maintenance, resting up, reprovisioning your gear from packs within your packs, so on and so forth. The things that later you take for granted, the book actually allows for that during rest periods, unless you're crafting and so on and so forth. And so you don't have to tell me like, oh, I'm maintaining unless something actually breaks. But if you're doing something else, because this isn't an actual like night's rest, you have to use your time wisely.
This
With
is true.
a,
I got you.
sorry to interrupt, but with a quote unquote long rest, am I getting daily items back or is it just basic, a little bit of downtime?
It's a little bit of downtime, and you get a single daily item back.
Oh boy.
So it would be like if you were spellcaster, and so you would get a spell slot back. I assume you would want to bring your strongest, but I could be incorrect because you have a plethora of things to draw from.
Well,
So
what is my strongest? You know, do I want to get the turbine laser? Do I
what?
want to bring the
It's
dynamite?
your
Do I want my
it's your
armor
choice.
recharged?
It's your choice. Totally your choice.
Uh,
Well, being that you're like you guys are hell bent on destroying the dreadnought rather than just disabling it and getting away, I would say you need your armor back. But also I'm gonna spend this time reloading my bandolier, cleaning my guns, all that happy shit.
Yeah, Leander's kind of tuning his lutar, getting his paperwork together, finishing up some writing in a book. Ali gets some prayers done, some you know, gear check stuff. Um, you don't really see him do much with his weapons other than kind of like pray over them. After a time, Cord's runners come back, um, and there are less of them. He sent out 8 men. 4 of them have returned, and the others have apparently found more people and are slowly bringing them back. So it would seem there is enough to load up the smaller ship here while leaving behind enough people to man the bigger ship along with Cord. That way you guys can hurry up back to the ballroom. Or you guys could wait a little longer, not truly knowing how much longer these other 4 guys might be.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I'd say at the very least we need to make sure we have enough people to man the crew, and I would like to not leave the other ship behind, too far behind us.
Okay. Well then, just wait for the rest of the guys to show up. Okay. So there
Taking
is
that small ship is already
Ford,
going to slow them down.
right? Ford has 9 men, and of those 9 men, he sent out 8 of them. 4 of them have returned. The other 4 get back. It takes around another 2 or 3 hours. So by the time they get back, sun is going down.
So, can
The
we say in
the
the
raid.
meantime?
What's that?
Can we say in the meantime, though, while we're waiting on the, anxiously pacing up and down, we're actually getting ready to be on it?
Well, that's been happening all the time. Everyone's been until
Oh. Okay, I have lost all connection. So this should be interesting, and I can't even reset it.